What loophole did you exploit for years before someone found out?
I paid $300 a month to park a really pimped out van in a heated garage in Boston. If you parked front and no one could see you. Found a spot near an electrical outlet and ran a line into the van. Paid for a $10 gym across the street that was open for 24 hours, so I had all the hot showers I wanted. Served at a nearby restaurant, so ate most of my meals for free. Watched TV on my laptop with the free Wi-Fi from the coffee shop above me. Literally lived in downtown Boston for $310 a month while I went to college.
There is an app for a local burger chain where it allows you to roll the dice to get a code for a free double patty burger upgrade. It was designed so you could only try it once per day, and it even shows the date of the roll on the code so the cashier could verify it. However, I found out that you can just change the date on your phone and try again immediately. If you got nothing, change it again and just keep going until you get the code. Then, when you got the code, you change the date back to current date, and the app updates the code, so it looks like you rolled it today. I got free burger upgrades for years until they finally got rid of the feature altogether. I don't know if anyone ever figured out this exploit. They removed it for other reasons.
Growing up, I worked at a chain grocery store. They had a policy in place that if an item price label didn't match the scanned price in the computer, the first item was free and any subsequent items would be for whichever price was lower. Every few months an elderly woman would come in and spend 4 to 5 hours shopping. When she would come up to the register, she would have a full cart and near everything would be free. I had to ring her out a handful of times and only caught a few items overall that she was wrong on. At one point, she found a comforter BBB mislabeled and got it for free, $40 to $50 sticker price. More than once the store manager would watch her on the store cameras to ensure she wasn't switching the stickers, but never saw her do anything sneaky, just very calmly looking over every item shelved one at a time. Eventually the policy changed and she stopped coming in at all. TL/DR store managers hate this one simple trick.
My friend used to restock condom machines in pubs and collect the money from them. The machines would always break and get jammed all the time, but because it was condoms no one would ever tell someone that the machine ate their money. He would just count how many condoms were gone and give that amount of money to the company and pocket the rest. Edit, I meant to also say he moved on to another job. Apparently the next person that did it collected all the money correctly, and threw all their figures out.
When I was a kid there was a pay phone down the street that if you put your quarter and made a call but no one answered it would give you back 2 quarters. Went there all the time and called home when I knew no one was there to answer.
I went to a sporting goods store, and they asked me for my phone number when I was paying. I was in a bad mood and didn't want to fight with the clerk, so I told them our local area code +555 1212, which is the old number for directory assistance. Clerk accepted it, and I left. When I checked my receipt I had a huge number of loyalty points, because apparently a ton of other people did the same thing. I called the office the next day and switched the account to my new address. A half dozen times over the next few years, I went and got free stuff with all the points that I kept racking up as one of their most loyal customers. Edit, wow. I've never had a comment blow up like this before. Thanks everyone. Totally made my day.
The McDonald's app used to have an entry in the order book for garlic parmesan fries that you only found through the search option. It cost $0. Every time I ordered it I got free regular fries. Also you can set the drink option on Happy Meals to coffee, which is not really a loophole but handy.
Years ago I was a season ticket holder for an awful NBA team. My tickets came electronically via PDF. I had okay seats in the upper part of the lower bowl, but nothing great. Anyway, on nights where I knew it would be empty, which was most nights unless a superstar like Kobe or LeBron was in town, I would use the full version of Adobe Acrobat to edit the PDFs to indicate a much better seat location than mine. The barcode still scanned just fine because I didn't mess with it, but when the usher took my printout all he saw was that I was sitting on the floor. Got away with it for years until the team actually got good for a while and the place was packed.
Parking meters took credit cards. But they weren't actually connected to a live network at all times. The machine just confirmed the card number was valid and was not expired, then spit out a valid pass. So when my card number got stolen and replaced, I kept my old, cancelled card. Of course, when the system tried to run the card later, it would be declined. My car and I were long gone by then. Sadly, they wised up and now it charges your card before giving you a pass.
Worked out how to get the jackpot every time on a Connect 4 fruit machine in a pub I used to drink in. It would cost about £5 to £10 before you'd get into the bonus round, then when you did, you'd play a Connect 4 game against the machine. You place the first counter, and then after the machine places the next counter, you mirror the machine's move. Every game ends in a draw, and you win the jackpot, which was £50. The pub landlord removed the machine after around 3 months as it was regularly empty, basically paid for my drinking and more for 3 months.
One week the local Chick-fil-A put a coupon in a local coupon magazine flyer which was buy one, get one free, any item on the menu. Next to that coupon they had a 50% off any menu item. I carefully checked, and neither coupon mentioned cannot be combined with any other offer anywhere on it. So I ran out to the local grocery store and grabbed a stack of these flyers. Sure enough, the next week the offer was gone, but it was too late to stop me. I spent almost 2 years as a grad student living almost exclusively off of 128-count nugget platters that I would get for 25% of the cost, first half off, second free. Place went under new management, and they put up a sign saying they would no longer be accepting those coupons. Not entirely sure if that was due solely to me or if anyone else was pulling the same thing. I had about 20 coupon pairs left when they shut it down.
Still ongoing. Thanks to a charge card I was granted top-tier elite status with a hotel chain. I downgraded 6 years ago but the status remained. The hotel chain went through a merger, but since I had retained the status for over 10 years I was given lifetime top status in the new program that was created.
Back in 1999/2000 there was this web advertising company called AllAdvantage. You could install their ad banner on your computer, and it would occupy like the bottom 15% of your screen and show you ads, and AA would pay you for the time you were exposed to the ads. Of course they had basic measures in place like stopping your accumulated time if your screensaver came on or your computer went to sleep. But all it took was a simple program that would keep your mouse slowly moving while you're actually away IRL, and the AA clock would keep on ticking. Not sure if keeping it running at all times I was away IRL ended up being cost-effective in regards to cost of electricity, but I was a teenager living with my parents so I didn't care about that. I think I pulled maybe $500 or so before the company went under.
Local casino issued a $20 free play coupon in the newspaper with no expiration date. I talked to the newspaper delivery guy and asked him about that copy, and he told me he's got 100 of them in the van as they were a few days old now. I got all of them, clipped out the coupons and proceeded to make $19.50 every day after work for around 500 or so days. Not quite years, but pretty damn close. The casino never printed a coupon without expiration/1 per customer rules ever since.
My old job I worked at a pretty large gym, gold level, like the third highest level. Monthly fee was $79 for the gold membership, but employees got a free diamond membership. Worked there for a year and a half before I quit, but my account was never deactivated. Been going there for a while completely free, still not found out. Diamond membership is like $200 a month.
Used to work at Starbucks like 7 years ago, and they used to print these receipts where if you filled out a survey it would give you a 6-digit code which you could then exchange for a free drink. However, when you gave in the receipt with the code we would just toss it in the garbage, and then give the free drink. So over a shift I would just keep all the survey receipts when people didn't want them, write random numbers on them, then keep a wallet full of free coffee. Since I already got tons of free drinks, I would give them to homeless people, and explain it was good for a free coffee. Probably gave away like 100 free drinks.
This is super weird and I haven't thought about it in years, but I suppose it was a loophole. Soda companies used to run giveaways where they would put a code under the cap, and then you could enter the codes for points, and get free stuff once you had banked enough points. I was a stock boy at a local grocery store and we had to take care of the bottle return machines also. Any loose caps and nasty soda juices would settle in the bottoms of the bags, so on slow nights we would cut the corner of the bags to drain and collect any loose caps which I would then wash in the mop sink and take home to bank the codes. I ended up getting some sweet stuff like a few CDs, a zip-up sweatshirt, and even some decent noise-canceling headphones LOL.
I used to live in an apartment across the road from a casino whilst at university. They released an app where if you check in you get points that go towards free food and drinks. Because I was close enough to the casino, I could just check in without going to the casino itself. Every Saturday I used to get a free burger, fries and drink and watch sport in the sports bar. They eventually scrapped the app. It was awesome considering I was a broke uni student.
My family used to go to this campground in the summer and rent a little cabin for like a week. In the main building there was a little arcade, mostly older games, and a foosball table, and an air hockey table. What most people didn't know was the air hockey table was broke. If you put quarters in, you could push the plunger to start the machine and then get your quarters back if you did it just right. A couple of years in a row were super fun because me and one other kid that knew would keep air hockey going for the entire time. The arcade would be filled with kids who would often play other games while waiting their turn at air hockey. They must have found out after a few years though, because one year we went back and it was fixed. The arcade was also a complete ghost town, and the campground made no money off it after that. That's when I fully realized and understood the concept of a loss leader at like 13 years old.
Got keys to a new flat on a Friday afternoon. The place had electric, but it wasn't in my name. Went to the electric company just before closing and the lady said flat 8 you say. We only have record of 7 flats on that building. Tell you what, glances at the clock, come back Monday with the serial number on your meter, and we'll get you all hooked up. I never went back and enjoyed free electric for over 2 years until I moved out. Edit to clarify, when I say wasn't in my name, this was originally a large single dwelling property that had been converted into flats/apartments. My one I guess was a late addition, and I was the first tenant. It simply wasn't registered to me or anyone. It's also standard here in the UK to pay the individual utility bills to the individual utility companies providing their services.
Circa late 80s. You could make a long-distance collect call from a pay phone and charge it to a private number. The operator would call the other number to confirm. We'd ask the operator to call the number of another pay phone nearby and have a friend authorize the call. Free long distance for almost a year.
I grew up down the street from Universal Studios and went there every day after middle school. Eventually we learned to go into the VIP line for rides which nobody was ever in. When the guy stopped us and asked us for our VIP tickets, we just told them a high-up employee named Rick should have called it in. After 2 seconds on the radio trying to verify, every employee just gave up and let us through. We skipped lines for years with that method, and eventually ride attendants came to know us and just let us through. It was beautiful. One day we got bold though and snuck into the studio area. Guards caught us and asked us who we were with. We told him our fictional Rick told us we can be here. Well, the guards took radio verification way more serious, and managed to get a real Rick on the line. We waited for Rick to show up, knowing we were busted. Rick showed up. Turns out he was actually the backlit manager at the time, and gave us a strange look. The security guard asked us if we were with him, and this dude said yes. He took us aside and asked us what we were doing, and we told him we just loved film and the studio atmosphere. He loved that 2 young kids were interested in his job and began taking us all around to the studios, allowing us to sit in on tapings of various shows and so on, giving us a free pass to come back anytime, and also, VIP line access.
Because I was a good student and rarely got into trouble, I was allowed to have my own phone extension in my room. So, if I was out past curfew, I'd call home. When my mom answered, I'd say, "It's for me. I've got it." And she'd think I was up in my room. She never did catch on. Laughing face. Edit, it was 1976. My mom never knew. I know that because I confessed to it years later. She was very shocked and mad, and she grounded me. But I was 40 and had my own house by then. My parents were the early to bed and early to rise type, and my room was a converted attic 2 floors up from the rest of the bedrooms. I often came home after everyone else was asleep because I had a part-time job, so I was used to sneaking in like a ninja. It was a bright yellow Princess phone. And finally, I knew a good thing, so I did not abuse this technique, just a few times when it was absolutely necessary, like the time we hitchhiked to see Peter Frampton.
In high school, our PE grade was based on improvement. We took a skills test at the beginning and another at the end, and your grade was based on how much you improved. So, once I learned that, I always sucked at the first test, and then did miraculously better at the second, so I had a massive improvement and thus, a better grade.
My boss was always late and patience would always show up early for the first appointment of the day. I started letting staff know I would be changing it on the schedule to show our first appointment starting 15 minutes earlier. We ran like clockwork for a year until the doc decided to randomly be on time more often. I had to admit patients weren't late, I had just been shifting the schedule to make things run more efficiently.
Arby's used to have a take a survey on the back of the receipt, and get a free roast beef sandwich. But when I got the free one, I got a receipt then too. I bought one sandwich, got literally dozens for free over the course of a year or so.
When Lyft first came out, they were giving away free rides up to like $20 to $30 if I remember correctly, all you had to do was refer a friend. So me and my college roommate just made a few email address, and somehow my free rides glitched and I just kinda had free rides for the year. Edit. I remember what caused the glitch. I had lost my debit card that was linked to the account, so I had to cancel it and get a new one. For some reason, Lyft kept processing payments to my old card, but it never came out of my bank account.
Used to work for the BBC. They have, as you'd expect, their entire archive digitized. I was working on some cloud stuff, so needed access to it to check some access rights. This was literally everything ever shown on the BBC, ever downloadable in a ton of video and audio formats. iPlayer is just a fraction of what was in that archive. Took them about 6 years after I left to remove my account, so 6 years free access to probably the largest TV and movie database around. Edit. Blimey, that was a lot of activity, while I was asleep. For those asking, I used it mainly to watch documentaries. I'm a bit of a history bore, so would just search something like World War I and see what popped up. You could download as video or audio. I'd drop stuff out as MP3s and listen to it in the car. Yes, it was called Redex, and good to see other ex-BBCers who had access for years. Yes, you have to pay for a TV license in the UK. Yes, it's crap to be forced into it, but that does mean there are 0 adverts on the channel, which is nice when you're watching a program. Oh, and yes, BBC these days also stands for something else. Hilarious. Edit 2. No, I don't still have access. That was kind of the point of the whole thread. Please stop messaging me asking me to download stuff for you. Edit 3. Yes, of course you don't have to have a TV license. I meant more, even if you only want to watch one program one time, you have to have a whole year. I support a pay-as-you-go/subscription model.
Obligatory, not years, but I can't believe I got away with it. My mum gave me £20 to buy a big thing of a certain brand of cat food which normally costs £10.99. Now hey race the thing, when I entered the store I was given a coupon for £5 off that particular brand of cat food. The store was also doing £5 off the type of cat food I entered for. I got to the till and the food was priced at £5.99. I handed over my coupon and it was scanned so that the food was 0.99p. I couldn't believe my luck, because normally it says not for use in conjunction with any other offer. But here's the real kicker, the lady behind the till gave me another coupon, so you can bet your goddamn life I went round again and left the store with £22.98 worth of cat food for £1.98, with a third coupon in my hand. The only reason I didn't keep exploiting the loophole was because I had to carry it all home on my BMX. Edit. Thanks for the awards, guys. I didn't expect to get this sort of response. For anyone who wants a bit of backstory, I was about 12/13 living in southern England.
At my current apartment complex, they just changed the laundry machines, so you need to use this super shitty slow app. I found out if you press start on the app and start on the machine, and then back out of the app while it's chatting with the machine will start, but won't charge any money. Been washing and drying for free for a few months. App name is similar to Small GS or Small Payments. Edit. Others in this thread use this app, so I'm gonna hold back the direct name of it, and y'all can use this trick for longer.
I don't know if this counts as a loophole, but back when I was an unemployed college student and before public transport tickets became electronic where I live, I used to cover my ticket in a thin layer of glue stick, so when I validated the ticket the ink would stay on top of the glue layer. I would then wash the ticket very carefully with water and the ink would come off. I'd let it dry and I magically had a brand new ticket. This would last about a week before the ticket started looking too weird.
The thing we clocked in on when I worked at Kmart would round to the closest quarter hour. So by clocking in 8 minutes early and clocking out 8 minutes after my shift, I got paid for 30 minutes rather than for the 16 minutes. By exploiting this, I was paid 2.5 hours of overtime a week. Cumulatively, during my time there, this added up to about 6.5 weeks of extra pay. I wasn't ever caught though. Edit, actually, since it was all overtime, it was closer to 10 weeks of regular pay.
At my old job we had a vending machine in the basement that gave change back when you bought something. Sometimes it gave more than you paid. No one used this machine as the basement was being reconstructed, but it was regularly filled. Edit, someone asked this. It went on for about a year and a half, and I don't know what happened to the machine. It was just gone one day. Someone could have caught on, or it could have been because construction was finished. I probably made $500 to $700 in cash back. And at one point I actually had a sack of coins.
Was living near and attending our local university. While working full-time in an economy in the midst of a recession, I barely had enough money to pay the bills, let alone eat. Where I live is very well known for its tourist industry and casinos, so I had quite a few friends who worked in it and would tell me about these massive employee luncheon cafeterias. At that time there were no ID cards or lanyards to be scanned or checked. All you needed was to find it and be dressed appropriately to the employer's dress code. After my friend and I did a dry run on one of those trips, in order for me to find it without getting lost I would go it alone. For almost 3 years I had lunch/dinner for free, learning the peak service times and the dead zones. Even got along with some of the cafeteria workers and custodial crews.
There used to be a third-party warranty you could get at Newegg that was called replacement or refund. It was for laptops that were under $500. The warranty cost like $75 for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, I would file a claim for whatever small thing was wrong with the laptop, headphone jack, card reader, bad key, etc. I would send it to them, and they would refund me the full $500. Then I would just buy a different laptop and get the warranty again. I rolled the same $500 for 3 different laptops. I basically rented a laptop from Newegg for $37 per year.
There was a soda machine that was really old that would still charge $0.25 for a can of soda. Pretty soon I realized that it would give you a can for free if you just mashed the buttons repeatedly. It was the best part of grocery shopping.
2 from college, not exactly loopholes but playing the system. Pizza chain had coupons printed on their larger boxes. With 10 coupons you could get a free cheese carryout pizza. Used to raid every single trash can of their pizza boxes in the dorms, or offer to throw away someone's box for the coupons. Rarely paid for a pizza, but got plenty of cheese carryouts for free. Campus paper printed a coupon for 2 free game tokens in the bowling alley/arcade in the student union, limit 1 coupon per day. I got a stack of coupons, free campus paper. Twice a week I had to go through the student union for class and was usually with a friend. She was a good sport, and the 2 of us cashing in coupons meant 4 game tokens a day, 8 per week. I made her a pair of earrings out of 2 game tokens for being a good sport.
I had a killer racket in school where I would buy the graduating class's used textbooks for like $5, and then sell them to a third-party bookseller in the next town over who would pay me between $25 and $30 for each one. Eventually people started asking questions, and others figured out the deal.
On the original Kindle, you could purchase a book with an expired card and Amazon would send you the book. A minute later, you'd receive a notification saying the payment didn't go through. You had to select something stating you were aware of this, and then they would take the book back. If you hit the home button, it took you out of the notification and you could continue reading the book, unaware that the payment didn't go through. I did this once a month my junior year in high school. The summer before senior year, I could not do it anymore. Coincidentally, my passion for reading died around that time.
Photoshopped a college parking pass to hang in my rear-view mirror, complete with a fake barcode. Even had it laminated. Free parking for 3 years, saved $250/year. Edit, if I was never caught, does this still count?
Not intentional, but once I found out I didn't stop. Years ago I used my card to pay for Xbox Live during a period before I could pick up a manual one-year subscription, but when I tried to remove my card details it wouldn't let me and said I had to call MS directly. Being lazy but smart, I decided to just change the security numbers that were saved so it wouldn't process any future payments. And it never did. But somehow I still kept getting Xbox Live access. This went on for about a year and a half before it stopped. I was never contacted about paying anything for what I'd used either. Edit, holy balls. I did this last night as a throwaway comment and came back to 7.6k upvotes and my first ever awards. You guys rock.
Part-time retail worker for big chain. Work gives employees a 5% discount over all purchases, increasing to 10% on store products. Gift cards are store products. So are vegetables and a lot of groceries. By paying $45 on a $50 gift card, and then using said card for my shopping, I can purchase $55.55 in groceries, for an effective 19% discount on almost all my essential shopping, and 14.5% on everything else. I have on occasion bought a card online on my phone while queuing at the checkout. For years strong and still wondering when they'll realize they're giving me a discount on money. Edit 1, no, you cannot purchase gift cards with gift cards, smiley face, real money only. They closed that one. Edit 2, ho, awards. Obligatory edit for thanks.
Many years ago I was the manager at a Texaco station. This was circa 2004-ish. We didn't have electronic dispensers, they were all analog, although the prices were controlled from a computer in the office. Whenever we had a price increase, we had to close the station for about 10 minutes as it took that long for the dispensers to update to the new price. I happened to be on the forecourt during an upgrade and picked up a pump to see what price was being shown. I very quickly put it back down again and ran to get my car. During the update, petrol was priced at 5p per liter. I filled my tank for less than £5. At the time, our receipts only showed the pump number, type of fuel and the amount due. There was nothing about the price per liter or the quantity dispensed. After that, I don't think I spent more than £50 in total for petrol across a few years.
When we had a daily limit of 1 hour on our AOL account, my sister figured out if you unplugged the phone line during your session and logged back in, it reset your hour.
It was only once. Bought a game license on Steam for a game which was on a different launcher. Tried out the game, didn't enjoy it and refunded it. Later I checked the alternate launcher and while Steam gave me my money back, they never cancelled the license at the other company. Got a game with its newest expansion, Euro 70, for free. Edit, still works and turns out I enjoyed the game after a while, smiley face. Double edit, it was ESO/Elder Scrolls Online. To be specific, I got the base game plus Skyrim when it was literally just released for a few days.
Not years, but when I was broke and had just relocated to a new city, I couldn't afford Wi-Fi for a few months. The first weekend I was laying around my apartment playing on my phone, and I noticed there was a Wi-Fi network in range that was named Gandalf. Well, I attempted to join, and after being asked for the WPA, without hesitation, I plugged in You Shall Not Pass, and was surfing the web for free for the next few months.
Printers at the university had a flaw that let you print out any number of pages while just paying for a single page. I told too many people about it and they eventually fixed the problem, but I was able to print for really cheap and save a ton on printing. I normally am not the kind of person to do this, but our professor made us print out 20-page state diagrams instead of just submitting them electronically, and I wasn't going to pay for that.
Whole Foods used to have bacon on the breakfast bar. Cooked bacon weighs almost nothing. I would get a pound of cooked bacon for $8. It lasted almost a week. Bacon crumbles for the salad, for the turkey sandwich, and the 100 other things that you can toss bacon into. I used this method for almost a year, then they stopped putting bacon out. Sigh.
Kept a cancelled credit card in the car for paying for parking on city machines that never actually validated the card. Eventually word spread and the city added cellular tech to validate the card.
HP used to have an employee shop where they sold all of their stuff at 50 to 70% discounts to employees. Remarkably, you didn't need to log into anything. If you had the URL, you could place an order, whether you were an employee or not. Delivery was also free and came with the standard HP warranty. Naturally, I listed everything they sold on Amazon for marginally less than everyone else. Made about £5,000 from that in the second year of uni.
I used to buy books on Amazon Kindle with a debit card that had no money on it. The transaction would take a little time, but you could download immediately. The problem was if your payment bounced, they would remove the book from your device, so if you downloaded the book then turned your Wi-Fi off on your device, you could read for free.
My aunt and uncle were trash collectors both professionally and as a hobby. My mom had pulled one of her epic fuck-ups again, and we ended up living with them. Most of our food came from the trash, however Domino's had a reward system where the boxes had blue or red tabs depending on the size of the pizza. Collect enough tabs, get free pizzas. Aunt and uncle collected thousands of those tabs. We ate pizza every weekend for months before the company caught on, and they put an end to it. I was 11 at the time, but I remember hearing that their address was banned for life from delivery. I'm pretty sure Domino's also stopped the promotion shortly thereafter. It was awesome while it lasted.
I used to work at a grocery store and we had this era of the steak discounts. Hundreds of coupons for $5 off a steak were just everywhere for some reason. I found out that if I used the self-checkout and bought a steak that was less than $5 while using the coupon, the machine would give me back the difference in change. I ate dozens of free steaks and filled my change jar up nicely. Edit, typical holy shit this blew up, thank you for awards blah blah blah. But seriously, thank you. I've been alone in my basement for months talking to my pet bunny, and today I felt like a goddamn rock star.
Wife and I financed a very nice fridge. They did their financing through a bank that sends you a CC after the fact with the item already charged. Card showed up, no balance. Called the card issuer, never been a balance. This was over 6 months ago, still no balance or record on either of our credit reports.
I have always lived in a different city/town than where I work. I've also always worked in an industry that gives preference to my coworkers who are parents. I learned early on that when asking for time off, if I listed going out of town as a reasoning, there would be no question or hesitation to grant the time off. I'm rarely ever traveling, as that label suggests. I'm merely at my home, in another town. Woman shrugging, light skin tone. I have one coworker I have told, but the vast majority have yet to ever figure out my system.
It's a small one, but in high school I didn't want to wear glasses while playing football. They only had glass contacts back then, and we couldn't afford them, so I memorized the standard eye chart. The line you needed to read was DEFPOTEC edit. Fixed the eye chart. Missed an E.
When I was in college they had this deal where if you signed up for a free trial of Netflix you could get a $10 gift card code for Papa John's. They didn't even ask for a credit card back then, just an email, so I would just make new email addresses to use and would get a code every time. Not only did I get free Netflix for a while, but I also got a lot of free pizza.
I got Amazon Prime for free in high school, and still have it. I graduated in 2017. IDK, why they haven't caught on, my high school email is long gone, and not even on my account anymore.
Worked a shitty part-time job with no benefits, career growth, etc. that let you clock in 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after your scheduled shift because it involved a lot of walking. Extra 2.5 hours per paycheck for virtually no effort.
My first credit card ever when I was 18. Many moons ago. I opened a bank account and they sent me a CC. I used it for just shy of 2 years, all kinds of stuff. My first apartment was baller. Never got a bill. Bought nice clothes, systems, subscriptions, food, you name it. Never got a bill. Went to the bank one day to deposit some money and asked when my new card was coming. My old one was about to expire, and they said, "What CC? You aren't supposed to have this." They took it on the spot, never got a bill. Tens of thousands of dollars easily, all for free.